You know that saying that when everybody is something, then nobody really is? Like, if everybody's rich, then no one's really rich. Or if everyone's pretty, then no one's really pretty. The world needs its distinction, sort of that line that differentiates one from the other. Say, for example, a premium offering to a more affordable one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, meet that line. This is the 2025 MG G50 Plus Lux, an affordable 7-seater with VIP aspirations. So how much do you think a car like this is worth? 2 million? 1.8, 1.7? That sounds about right, considering that the competitors in the market have, well, basically the same size with VIP seating. But if you check the AutoDeal app, available on iOS and Android, and it's completely free, by the way, the MG G50 Plus Lux comes in at 1,288,888 Philippine pesos, which I think is pretty darn wild. Consider the fact that its size and the other competitors that you have in the market, those cars with VIP seating start at about 1.6 million Philippine pesos. So I think MG has done very well with the pricing of this vehicle. Now you may think that's a steal of a price. Buy it now, buy it now. Sure, go on, but wait a minute, where's the catch? I mean, it's bigger than other similarly priced 7-seaters like the Expander, Stargazer, Ertiga, and the Avanza. But its size is its biggest, pun intended, selling point, even encroaching on the likes of the Toyota Innova, the Xenix, the GAC M6 Pro, and the Hyundai Custom, while throwing in the captain's chairs to boot. So it's bigger than average, which is a huge advantage over its quote-unquote rivals. So again, where's the catch? Well, it's not ground clearance, which is sitting on a healthy 230 millimeters on wheels that are 17 inches in diameter, wrapped in 55 series tires. The design is, well, very familiar, and that's thanks to MG's sister company Maxus, who also had the G50. So whatever we said in the review of the previous model still stands here. You think it'd be the engine, which is a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine that produces 179 horses and 285 Nm of torque. In fact, if you zoom out a little, you'll understand that the power figures of this and the torque figures are actually pretty healthy for a car of this size. Oh, and fun fact, this MG version of this car has more power and torque than that of the previous model, and it's also supplied with a new transmission, which is a 7-speed wet DCT. Now, we're gonna mention a few more things about that trip, so promise me that after you watch this video, you'll check out our video to Las Casas. The links will definitely be somewhere down below. When you open her up at the rear, it's not a power tailgate, but it does give you a lot of space, even behind the third row, enough to carry Earl's ridiculously sized maleta. Then when you fold the third row, it folds flat, so you can fold like up to 2 balikbayan boxes, Earl's ridiculous maleta, and my overnight baggage. You could opt for more space, but since this is the 7-seater, you really can't fold the captain's chairs flat. But if you do get the 8-seater variant, then you've got even more space for you, which then begs the question, do you want something that has more cargo space, or do you want something with luxury seating? If you are having difficulty on deciding, download the AutoDeal app, check out the specs so that we can get you the best car at the best price. Third row seating, not that bad. Could use a little bit more thigh support, but hey, it is quite spacious. The leg room is dependent on how generous the second row is going to be with you. If it's all the way back, then yeah, it's kind of tight on my knees, but if they're more generous, then yeah, you've really got a lot of space. There aren't many toys back here. You basically have cup holders on either side, only one Type A charging point, and then air vents up on top. Captain seats are always going to be a knockout, but inside the MG G50, it's not overly luxurious, but it is most definitely damn respectable. The space is good if you're not feeling generous to the persons in the third row. You can stretch out, well, a person of my size, anybody taller than me, that might be a bit of an issue. But the seats are most definitely comfortable. Toys back here include, you have pockets here behind the seats. You have two cup holders in the center, air controls found underneath. Below that, you have a Type A charging point, a 12-volt socket, a cubby found underneath. On your seat itself, there's a small little slot maybe for your mobile phone, bottle holders on either door, some hard plastics around the cabin, but for the most part where you're sitting, including this armrest that comes down, it's actually quite comfortable. And then, of course, your air vents found up on top. Now, for captain seats, you might be expecting the VVIP treatment, or the part that puts the V in VIP, which is perhaps maybe you're looking for power seats that have massage functions and cooling functions. Or perhaps you want a tray in the center that pops out for more storage space for your bottles and whatnot. Perhaps maybe even a monitor or a TV inside. But consider this. Consider the price of this automobile and what it offers you. And at that price point, it's still a knockout. When you get up front, it's the same sentiments as from the second row. It's good, but nothing overly special. But it is, like I said, darn respectable. Up front, you have two analog gauges with a trip computer found in the center. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, which is fine. You have a large 12.3-inch touchscreen infotainment system. Down below, you have air controls, immediate air controls on this panel right here. Below that, charging points, a 12-volt socket. It doesn't have a wireless charging pad, but there is a pad for your phone, cup holders, space for your keys, and so on. On the steering wheel, very simple. You have controls for your cruise control and then your audio controls on the right-hand side. Now, what you will note that is missing from this car is that there's no gear lever found here in the center. That's actually been put here where the wipers are, which I unfortunately confused for the wipers this morning when it was raining. But if the wipers aren't there, where are they? Well, they're on the left side where the lights used to be. And if the lights aren't there, where are they? Well, they're found on a panel here on the left-hand side. It's not overly confusing at all. You just get some used to. But what that does is that it does give you a lot more space here in the center. Oh, and you've got cubby holes here, which are actually pretty deep. It's almost my arm. And then we have the keys of the MG found right here. And then for even more space, look at this. Found underneath, there's so much space that it will even fit Earl's large bottle, not Jack's. Earl, wrong brand, man. This is not an MG bottle, if you catch my drift. That's not to say that there are a few things missing from this car. Like, for instance, in the infotainment, which is great, it does have Apple CarPlay, which is wired, but it doesn't carry Android Auto, which is kind of sucks for Earl and I. But there is QD Link, so there's a bit of consuelo de bobo there. Also, it does have a reverse camera. Unfortunately, it isn't a 360 camera, and for a car this size, you would appreciate a 360 camera. And lastly, it only does have just cruise control, not adaptive cruise, but it's only Jack between the three of us that uses adaptive cruise, so who cares anyway? What I am dying to tell you is how this vehicle performs on the road, which I want to do right now. But before we do, please consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't yet so. I'll wait. No, really, I will. Oh, I got time. I can keep doing this. Not as fun. Subscribe, please. I'm running out of please. Well, it's not as fun as the first time. No, that's not what I meant! Now, when you set off with the G50, the first thing that you're going to notice is the engine and the transmission. Now, while it's not exactly the best in the business, after all, it is only a 1.5 liter, what I will say is that it's a bit smoother than what we got in the past, in the sense that this is now a 7-speed wet DCT as opposed to just a DCT from the days of yore. you do still get the odd dead zone when the transmission is trying to figure itself out when you're accelerating and whatnot. But you're only really going to feel this if you're quote unquote reviewing the car. For everything else, it's really not a problem. In addition to the engine displacement, although it is only a 1.5 liter turbo, mind you, it's enough for the size and the heft of the vehicle. In fact, if you were to pit this up against naturally aspirated and similarly priced vehicles out there, this would probably take it in a straight line. Probably. But Earl and I don't work that way. Now, on the note of carrying its weight, we feel as if that there is a fine line between soft and just way too soft. So, in a car with a full tank of gas, 3 adults, full equipment, cameras and whatnot, heading to Las Casas, what the hell is this?
My clothes.
My
Your clothes. That's just my tripod and other stuff. And then,
Earl's clothes.
why? Why?
There has to be that one guy. I'm plugging our video a little too much. But it was very comfortable for us. We feel, however, though, that if this had a full complement of passengers, fill it to the brim with a little bit of luggage, that's where it might be a little too soft. It wouldn't be the greatest, it would just be okay. Now, in terms of the NVH, they're quite good at city speeds. When you get out onto the highway, that's when it becomes a little bit noisy. And I'm not talking about the noise that's coming from the tires, because that's actually shielded very well. It's the wind noise. It's from the cabin and the windshield once you pass 75 kilometers per hour. Pity that the stereo system in here isn't a little bit better to help drown out that noise, because on the sound system, we could have used a little bit more bass. Bass, baby. Is that how you say it, Earl? Boss. Bass. But apart from the critiques, when you zoom out and just take a look at the car, it doesn't actually stand out, okay? It's not the superstar, that it's not a sore thumb that all of a sudden it turns heads. No. But it also doesn't fade into obscurity. No. It blends really well with the background is what I'm trying to say. And it does its work well. Oh, and finally to add, I did several times mention that we did drive this to Las Casas. Not once did I as a driver or Jack as a passenger feel fatigued at all. No issues. Not even Earl. Well, he had nothing to complain about. He was asleep in the back the whole time.
Wasn't fatigued after.
I certainly hope not. Earlier in the video, I said that this was the line. And when I said that, what I meant is that it's a good middle ground from the upper-end MPVs and the lower-end MPVs. And what MG did good here with the G50 is that they took its more than what you pay for size and paired it with just the right amount of features to keep you content, all for under 1.3 million Philippine pesos. Now, with this car in the mix, I kinda have to wonder if other manufacturers out there are willing to cross this line. As someone that likes contests, I certainly hope so. Where did the sun come from? Weird. The sky.